So in the past 2 weeks, Uganda has lost two high-ranking officers. It's been a loss for the country. That includes Mr. Pecos Kutesa, who was an army man, a very high-ranking army man, and then also Major General Paul LOKECH. It's been a loss for the country, as I said earlier, but if we do not learn from the lives of others, and if we do not learn the lessons from, the mistakes of others, then we are not very wise, for lack of a better word. And that's why in today's video, we're going to be looking at the lessons that we can learn from the precious life of Major General Paul LOKECH when it comes to health and wellness. Stay tuned if you want to know more. So Major General Paul LOKECH was actually referred to as the Lion of Mogadishu because he commandeered various operations in Somalia very successfully. He was actually a person that had a lot of respect from his subordinates and also from his countrymen here in Uganda. Now, Major General Paul LOKECH, surprisingly, was 55 years old by the time he died. But to be honest, I found it hard to believe because of how he looked. He looked way more moisturized, he looked way more vibrant than 55 years old. I thought he was way under 50. I thought he was probably in his late 40s, and yet he was actually 55 years old. So that surely should have meant he did something right when it came to his health and his wellness. And those are the things we'd like to discuss and learn in today's video. First of all, listening to the tales of his colleagues, the people that he met in his life, the people that, had the blessing to actually meet him, you get to hear a lot of stories. And, something that you see a lot or hear a lot from these people is how composed Major General Paul LOKECH was. He was so composed. He was being talked of in a narration by another general, Felix Kulaije, who was saying that, one time he had to rescue Felix Kulaije. And so Felix Kulaije went up to, Major General Paul LOKECH in a very dire situation. I don't know whether it was in Congo or, in Sudan, one of those two places. And guess what? As Felix Kulaije was in panic mode, panting and wondering what was the next step, Major General Paul LOKECH just told him, I will sort you out. So you know what? This is what you're going to do, and that is what you're going to do, in a very composed manner. Mr. Felix Kulaije says up until this day, he is so confused at how composed he was at that point. And that can teach us a lot about our stress management. When you are dealt with a tough situation, a stressful situation, it's very important to keep you in your element. It's very important to keep composed, because then you're able to make more rational decisions that will actually not be something you'll regret in the future. So we can all learn, to handle our stress better, to handle our anger better, to handle our emotions better. They are very valid parts of our lives and our wellness, our emotions, but they are also those that can easily, trip us off into making huge mistakes in our lives. So composure is very important. It keeps you in the right state of mind, Life at the end of the day is really about how you perceive the situation, and you're going to look at it as an opportunity to get better, to learn. Then maybe you just might come out of that particular stressful situation a much better human being. And that's what we can learn from Major General Paul LOKECH. Another very important thing that, hundreds of people have talked about is how hardworking Major General Paul LOKECH was. And of course, if you're going to be hardworking and you're a soldier, then I'm definitely sure that you're going to have, a lot of physical activity in your life's, schedule or routine. So that should also tell us, how important it is to keep physically active, because that helps you to, grow, but grow gracefully and age gracefully, and, be full of energy, and, just help your body to, do its work that it should be at the highest possible potential and productivity. So it's important that we, are physically active. someone was talking about him at some point and was talking about how, you know, Major General Paul LOKECH was such a determined man that he found himself in a very tricky situation, commandeering, you know, his troops in Congo at some point, a war zone at that time, and they had no way out of Congo. So, you know, they couldn't be rescued from our end on Uganda's side, and guess what? He just made sure that he led his troops walking 800 kilometers from the Congo up until Uganda, bringing his troops in safety back to Uganda. Now that shows you determination that Mr. or Major General Paul LOKECH had, and that is something we should be able to learn for our wellness. You know, if you have goals, if you have something that is pushing you a bigger goal, you know, a bigger calling and a bigger purpose, it is very important that you keep pushing yourself. It's very important that you stay determined, because that's what will help you get to the end point. There's going to be tough tides, there's going to be rough tides along the way, there's going to be kicks and punches here and there, but you have to be determined enough. That is the attribute that actually will let you win. So if we're going to learn anything from Major General Paul LOKECH, it's let's be determined, it's let's be physically active, it is let us be composed as well. We have to have an element of composure. And like I said in the beginning, looking at this man, 55 years old, very exciting melanin tone, and yet a well moisturized skin. You could see it's not dried out. You could see he's, you know, he's smiling. You could just see that, you know, this man definitely takes care of himself. He looks after himself. It's a priority for him, because he cannot give what he doesn't have. If he's going to be hardworking and, you know, give us the best results, he's going to have to take care of himself as well. So he definitely must have been moisturizing and hydrating and drinking his water. We should learn that too. He definitely must have been catering to the things that will keep him, you know, looking good and feeling good as well. He must have been eating right, because he was not an obese man. He was actually a very slim, lean man, and you could see all the work that he was able to, you know, accomplish with that particular, you know, weight, with that particular physique. It's mesmerizing. I am so inspired, and I'm glad he walked this earth. It's so sad that he had to leave us at a young age of 55 years old, but we were glad to be graced by his being on this earth. So let's take a moment to remember the life of Major General Paul LOKECH. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Well, that was today's video. We were just learning. I really love to learn from people's biographies and just, you know, see what they were up to and see how their lives were actually meant to teach me something. So I hope this taught you something. That was our adventure of today. Until our next video, please remember that wellness is an adventure, so do make it a point to get some of it. Until next week, I will see you. Bye.